Also, in closing, let me make a couple of comments on what happens when you decide to live your life in the wilderness and not to cross over into the promised land. Think about what would happen when all the people were preparing for war, and these two tribes sit back and say, we're not going. In other words, they said, we're going to be a spectator instead of a participator. And when you decide to live your life as a spectator, even if you have a good life, you will never have the best life. Because the best life only comes when you decide to be a participator. When you participate in your education. When you participate in your vocation. When you participate in your family. And I'll tell you what, being a spectator can become habit forming. And it is a bad habit to get to. When you get to the point to where you're satisfied with let somebody else do it. Think about the negative effect it would have on their brothers and their families and their cousins when they were preparing to fight the battles to get into the promised land, and they're sitting over here eating supper, sitting around the campfire saying, hey, we're with you, bro. We're going to be praying for you. We'll cheer for you. Don't you think probably some of the other people might start thinking, look, if they're not going, maybe I'm not going to go either. If they're satisfied in the wilderness, maybe I should just stay over here with them. You never know what kind of an incredible negative impact you can have on your brothers or sisters or cousins or family when you decide to be a spectator of life and not a participator. When you decide just to sit back and let life come to you and be comfortable in the wilderness instead of being a man or a woman of courage and strength and fortitude to step out and cross the river into the promised land. And when you have that gumption to say, I am going to step out and do what I have to do, you can turn that negative into a positive. Because when people see others of courage, when they see others that are participating, they are more likely to be courageous themselves, more likely to participate themselves. And tomorrow, I want to talk about what Moses says to them, and I want to talk about their answer.